Hello everyone, I am going to start mid-project on this video because I just randomly decided to record what I'm doing for no reason whatsoever but your pure enjoyment of me doing everything incorrectly during my DIY projects. Today I am replacing the contact paper on my countertops because the countertops are hideous and I rent my house so I cannot paint them. Nor can I, break them with a sledgehammer into oblivion and replace them. So today we're just going to replace the contact paper. We've got this wood grain looking one. I've used a variety from marble to like a terracotta design, whatever. They're all awful and I hate them, but they don't really make a contact paper that I like. And most contact paper only lasts about 6 months to a year before it starts to tear or you can't really clean it anymore. So we're going to try this one, which I kind of sort of like. I've already done it over here. It turned out pretty good. I am using this heat gun that I got from Home Depot, Wagner. And I use the heat gun basically to warm up the edges so that they lay more flat and there's not a lot of air bubbles. I am then, when I'm finished, going to re-caulk all of this, which is gross. I've taken off all the old caulk with my little tool that I have, and yeah. I guess I should have done the dishes before I started this project, but screw it! So I'm actually pretty impressed with that piece. I just eyeballed the measurement here instead of measuring it like a regular person and trying to include this weird curve here. There is a small gap there, but I can fix that literally with another piece and then the heat gun just to kind of shrink it into place. And then next is this last area. I have always hated this side because of this ugly backsplash. And yes, I know my walls are kind of dirty. I'll get to it. This is also the area where the air fryer hangs out, so it's not like the world's most beautiful corner, but it's covered by the air fryer. And you see right here how it's kind of coming up a little bit. You just take that heat gun and you warm it up, and then all of a sudden it's perfect. You probably didn't even see me do that, but anyways, you do this kind of motion right there. And again, I know the grout here is ugly because there is no grout because I have taken it all up. And I will regrout it. Yay! Okay, so I got the first part of the back done. And I know I went a little bit over the edge there, but I can always cut it and or just do the caulking over it, which I know you're probably going to say, well, don't do that. But again, I'm doing this the wrong way because, I mean, let's just be honest. Do I really care? No, I do not. And I'm actually just cutting it right now because I can hear the voice in my head saying, they're going to comment all of these things that you're doing incorrect. You might as well just try to do one right. But, you know, look, it's a little better, okay? Look, I'm going to heat this little thing up right there. And you can't even tell. Now I'll do the caulking and you won't even see it. So yeah, this is not my favorite section, as I said before, because you can't really like fold the contact paper into like a corner there. Okay, I take that back. You could if you cut it at all the right angles and blah blah blah, but I just don't like have time for that because this is just a quick DIY to make my countertops not look terrible. And yes, I will get to my dishes when I am done with this because I look like a slob. So, all right, on to the next part. Okay, so I had to kind of call an audible here on this one because there is a crease right here where the tile is uneven. Very, very uneven. Also, don't look at the bubbles. I'll fix those in a second. But basically, when I laid down the contact paper, it wouldn't lay evenly. And it was causing this kind of like weird bubble at an angle. And I just said, screw it, let's just cut this. My air fryer sits here. You're not even going to see it. And I know this entire time I wasn't using that cool little press tool that you use to kind of pull out the bubbles. But honestly, it's really not too much of an issue. Because at some point in time I am just going to, like as you saw, kind of pull up what I did and kind of go this way with it. So initially I lay it down this way. When that doesn't work because this whole entire thing is kind of uneven and slanted, I'll just kind of pull from this way, pushing all the air out that way. I did use the heat gun a wee bit to kind of lay this down because it's uneven and I didn't cut this correctly. Whatever. Also, you're probably wondering why I did the entire video in hyperlapse, and that is because I swear a lot when I am doing projects because I get very frustrated. It doesn't matter how many times I've done this, I seem to always make an error. Like when I first cut this, I did it upside down because I wanted to see the lines where I needed to cut left and right. And I went ahead and did this cool little like curvy thing right here, and I messed it up because it was on that side because I was doing it upside down. So it goes to show you that no matter how many times I do a project, I don't learn from my mistakes of it's opposite, Lisa. Like whenever I've laid down laminate flooring, same exact thing. You flip it upside down to make your mark, but you're supposed to make sure you cut the right side, which anyways, that's a different story. So we're gonna do this last section here and then we should be done. Okay, so I finished this last bit, and it's kind of weird because whoever, like, you see that gap right there? It's so annoying. Anyways, whoever built this countertop, if you want to call it that, oddly enough, kind of just said, screw it, there's a lot of tile adhesive or mortar or whatever they used here. We're just going to leave it there. It looks great. So now there's like this awkward spot, and they don't line up, and whatever. There's also a few gaps in here, but again, this corner, you can't see it, so I don't really mind the gaps. Excuse my dogs in the background. Pro tip with the heat gun though, heat gun causes this vinyl to shrink a tad bit and also kind of rewarms up the adhesive, but if you hold it there for too long, it'll start to shrivel. So you do it for a second to where you know it's warm, and then you just kind of press it down with your hands. That gives you that nice close edging, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this is my countertops, and this has been DIY the wrong way. Remember to keep on DIYing, even if you do it wrong.